And hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to 80 Days. We're in Yokohama, Japan, and we are getting ready for our long trek across the ocean. Last time, my wonderful plan of seeing the sights and ending up in Korea here took us on a really big detour. Cost us some days, so hopefully we can make some headway here, skip across the US, and then jump across to get back in 80 days. I got my fingers crossed. I'm really hoping we can do this without any further delays. Alright, let's double check the market here. I think let's see, amethyst. No, we're not going down there. Yeah, we already did the market. So, oops. So we're just going to go ahead and, really we should just depart. Let's just get out of here. We're all good. Water lily and bark. Let's do this. 4,000. Good thing we got the money. Let's see here. Safety harness from our heavy storm set will help him a little bit, but he's going to take a beating here. Let's do this. Water lily. The Water Lily was a sleek iron-hulled ship to submarine prototype. Oh, that's right, because some of these ships go underwater as well. So ship to submarine prototype captained by a severe American by the name of Wicker. Ooh, he wore a top hat at all times and preferred tea to coffee, which greatly endeared him to Monsieur Fogg. In addition to the usual complement, the Water Lily carried an entire corps of brass-goggled engineers and a brace of submariners on standby should the captain call the order to submerge. The rumor was that she... The rumor was that she had been a slave ship and had only been refitted for passenger transport a good few years after Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation. But I saw no trace of a dark past aboard. The crew seemed a happy family and welcomed us into their iron-hulled bosom. Relations with Fogg have strengthened slightly. Excellent. Let's go ahead and converse. See what we can find. Talk. There we go. Greetings, Captain. Passport 2, what do you want? San Francisco. I need to know about San Francisco. I have heard there are many Chinese immigrants in San Francisco. What about San Francisco to... I'm trying to remember if there's any other places we're trying to go. Let's try Las Vegas. Oh, we can't travel to Las Vegas. Okay, what about San Pedro? Yes, you can get to San Pedro from San Francisco by fishing boat, but the journey is a tiring one. Yeah, that's right. We talked about San Pedro before, but I feel like one of the places we need to go is in the north, near Canada. Or in Canada. Not exactly sure. Our captain, while hardly our cabin... yeah, our captain was spacious. Our cabin, while hardly spacious, was adequate to our needs. One of the midshipmen came by to show us how to use the pressure seals in case of submersion, but in all other aspects, I looked forward to a peaceful steamship ocean crossing. I was not to be so lucky. Oh no, what happens? Oh no! Let's converse more. I am at your service, Monsieur Fogg. Why, my dear Passport 2? Let's see. Let's use the Balaklia. Shall I play you a tune? Make it short if you must. Doesn't really like that. Okay, what about the journey? We have still got to cross the Atlantic, monsieur. You must find a route that will get us as close to Europe as possible. What about the hairbrush? I will brush your hair, monsieur. Very well. Very good. Alright. Got a little bit back there. The salty air blew cool and sharp against my face as I opened the door onto the top deck. It was painfully early, and the only passengers awake were a group of Chinese laborers hunched miserably near the stern. One of their number was vomiting copiously into a bucket. I offered him my sincere commiserations. I myself had developed a sturdy set of sea legs, but I had every sympathy for those less fortunate. Unfortunately, the bilious laborer seemed to take my muttered words as some form of challenge or mockery. I switched to Mandarin. deploying the few words of the tongue I had learned during my travels. They warmed considerably, and even invited me to sit and play dice with them until the sun rose. Cool. Monsieur Fogg liked that. Alright, day 50. We have 30 days to go. Converse. Greetings, Captain. Passport 2, what do you want? Okay. I'm told they say that San Francisco is one of the most advanced American cities. San Francisco was a Spanish town not long ago. Let's ask about Salt Lake City. Is it possible to travel from San Francisco to Salt Lake City? I believe so. I knew a man who once took the Transcontinental Express from San Francisco to Salt Lake City. What about Albuquerque? I was told of someone who used to talk about the rail cart from Salt Lake City to Albuquerque. I find civilian talk tiring. Well, let's see if you like vodka. Don't mind if I do. Tell me more about Salt Lake City. Have you heard that you can buy revolvers in Salt Lake City? Extremely valuable in New Orleans. Well, let's learn more about that. Hear this, you can obtain wax cylinders inscribed with music in New Orleans that you can sell for profit in Atlanta. Well, tell me about Atlanta. Ugh, gosh. Talk a lot, don't you? So American. Alright, so now we have a trip from San Francisco to Salt Lake. That's nice. And then from there to Cheyenne. Oh, look at that. Straight through. Now, when I get the chance, I'm going to look at our stuff and see what we need to sell along the way, because I know that there's a couple things we can sell. I accompanied Monsieur Fogg to a game of whist with a family of American missionaries who were traveling back to San Francisco for a family wedding. My master began strongly, but Mademoiselle Loretta, the eldest girl, had a sharp eye and won several hands in a row. A new round was dealt, and I noticed Mademoiselle Loretta had unfashionably wide sleeves, though the rest of her dress was in the latest style. I was squinting closely at her ivory lace trim when I saw her slip a card up her sleeve. The minister's daughter was a cheat, and a skilled one at that. I filed away the knowledge for an opportune moment, catching her eye to convey that I had noticed her little sleight of hand. She blushed with all the manufactured prettiness of an accomplished actress, then raised one eyebrow in silent challenge. Our journey continued on. I wonder how that's going to come up later. Let's wait. Police hunt card sharp known as the Reverend's daughter. Last seen in Yokohama. Well, I just found her, you guys. She's aboard my ship. Figures. Alright. I spent today in the company of the Water Lily submariners. They were all hardy men and women who preferred the dim enclosed spaces of the hold to the top deck. Too much sky, one of them said, squinting suspiciously. Her crewmate nodded. All that fresh air. They shuddered collectively and suggested a bracing race to the boiler room. I offered an alternative, having no great desire to sprint through the ill-lit, echoing ship's corridors. Their commander, a short Japanese-American woman, gave me a look of scorn. What do you suggest? I demanded a test of acrobatic skill. Though the submariners were all fit as horses, they had never attempted to, for instance, form a pyramid or walk the length of a corridor with their hands. They competed with me gamely, but admitted themselves outclassed. Commander Davy even applauded. It's Itzumi to my friends, she said, clapping me heavily on the shoulder as I took my leave. You're not so bad. All right, made some friends down in the hole. I guess we'll just tend to him. There we go. Close shave. I was climbing the rigging entirely innocently, and not at all for the purposes of spying on the crew to appease my own rapacious curiosity. When I heard two of the crewmen arguing in a pidgin mix of English and Japanese, I closed my eyes and listened to their voices. Only a few words were audible over the howling of the wind. Shrine, heathen, worship, before a sudden scream rent the air. One of the sailors was falling from the platform's edge. I was unable to look away as he fell. His body lay still and crumpled on the deck, but I heard his scream in my head for days after. I looked up and managed to catch sight of the fallen sailor's companion, his face still and pallid. Was that guilt in his eyes, or merely shock? He slipped away before the captain arrived, and I followed him. He retired to the crew's quarters, and I began to hear the sound of desperate, muttered prayers. Ooh, did he do it, or did he not? It's hard to know. Let's converse. Greetings, mademoiselle. Passepartout, why hello. Let's ask about Cheyenne. I hear you can reach Cheyenne from San Francisco. On the subject of trains, I've heard Calgary is connected to Regina by rail. Tell me more. What can you tell me more about Regina? There are some very strange devices for sale in Regina's back alleys. Now, anyway, I think I will marry a Frenchman. Really? Mademoiselle, a particular one, or any? Oh, any will do, so long as they have the vowels. Well, I happen to be unengaged at the moment. Would you happen to like to tag along with me and be my wife? Oh, gosh. Let's ask about let's ask about Regina. Have you heard that the only bank in Regina has gone bankrupt? I have not. What about Calgary? Did you realize that traders in Ottawa will pay extremely well for walrus teeth from Calgary? What about Calgary? Calgary has an airship dock, surprisingly enough. Interesting, I might end up flying on one. So Gastown and Calgary. Okay, so this is the northern place. Let's go open the luggage here. Can I? Oh, no, I cannot pause. The Water Lily's crew held a funeral for the dead sailor. I was not specifically invited, but was curious about the incident. The funeral was an excellent opportunity to learn more about the crew. Captain Wicker led the Christian service with customary grimness. I was surprised by the absence of the sailor's companion, who had been arguing with him just before his fall. Yet he was not the only one missing from the funeral. Oddly, only half the crew had come to pay their respects. I asked my neighbor about this breach of custom, and she narrowed her eyes. Joseph was a convert, she told me defiantly. The captain taught him to read the Bible himself. The rest of the crew are heathens. They stay away from our godly ceremonies. Interesting. Let's see if there's any news. Ottoman defector found dead in Moscow station. Ottoman defector. Wait a minute. Is that the lady that we convinced to turn against the army? Or was that the other woman that we helped escape? No. She was far away from Moscow at that point. It must be the other, must be the one that was controlling the big robot, the steam machine. Storm. Too exhausted to write a proper entry. Suffice to say, we are still afloat. As we settled down to the night, Monsieur Fogg remarked, "We have gained ourselves a day, Passepartout. We have crossed the date line." My master was, of course, correct. Imagine what might have transpired had we forgotten. A less precise man than Monsieur Fogg might have finished on the 80th day and yet believed himself to have lost. So, in the original story, this is exactly what happens. They calculate incorrectly. They actually make it around the world in 79 days. And he gets home and he's all dejected until he has a flash of inspiration and realizes that he calculated incorrectly. So I love that the developers made a little nod to that in here. All right. Let's talk. All right. Greetings, Reverend. Greetings, Reverend. I need to learn some French. Passepartout, good day to you. What do you know about Burlington? For instance, the most efficient way to Burlington from here is through Salt Lake City. What about... Oh, Salt Lake City is a Mormon colony where polygamy is the norm. Now, anyway, would you believe it? I introduced my daughter to cards to occupy her mind. Indeed, monsieur, I think it may have worked. She is rather too occupied by them now, I fear. Yes, yes, indeed she is. I think that she is probably going to be a problem later on for you. Let's ask about Burlington. I tend not to discuss such things. What about Cheyenne? Monsieur, really, but there isn't a market to be found in Cheyenne. Well, why not? I must go, it's late. Ugh. Okay, fine. So far, the Americans have been rather dull. Yesterday's storm hit us with little warning. One moment I was preparing Monsieur Fogg's shaving water to exactly the right temperature. The night we were being tossed from one end of the cabin to the other. We were only lucky that the bed was securely nailed to the floor. The ship shuddered and moaned as the seas flickered with lightning. The storm lasted nearly 6 hours and blew us far off course. The captain spent most of the day peering at his charts, trying to locate our position. There is no land anywhere upon the horizon. Alright, let's attend... Nope, I guess we're not going to attend to him. Man, you have to be really on your feet with this game. The captain announced a change of destination. The Water Lily would now make for nearby Hawaii rather than San Francisco. Wait, I just realized too that the line here completely sharply moved. Okay. We would make for port in Honolulu in 5 days and would have to find our own further conveyance from there. Really? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. So we were absolutely fine. Ugh, okay. Monsieur Fogg's lips pressed ever so slightly together, a rare outward sign of entirely understandable annoyance. This, my master said, will not do. Indeed not, sir, I agreed, not even daring to calculate the delay and expense our unexpected diversion would cause. Monsieur Fogg gave me a cool, appraising glance. Captain Wicker has reneged upon his word as a gentleman, he said curtly, before lowering his voice to an almost furtive undertone. Our course is clear. We must mutiny. I opened my mouth to agree wholeheartedly, but he continued on without so much as a pause. See to it, Passepartout. Use your natural charm, I interjected brightly. Quite, he said, with the agreeableness of a gentleman who has just given his valet a near Herculean task. We will mutiny in 5 days when we reach Honolulu. Make your preparations as you see fit. Oh boy, it's on. Oh right. So so I've been talking to some people. Maybe I can get the Chinese people on board that I've been chatting with on with me. Maybe I can blackmail the gal with the card shark gal. Maybe I can blackmail her to help me out as well. I definitely have something on the guy who bumped his fellow off the roof or off the crow's nest. I might be able to get him on board as well. So far, really, all I have is kind of a blackmail sort of plan. So, let's try this. All right. Fogg? Oh, he's well cared for. Cool. All right. My task was clear. I was to foment mutiny aboard the Water Lily. Foment. My task was clear. I was to foment mutiny aboard the Water Lily. I decided to begin by exploiting the crew's animosity towards one another, divide and conquer, or so dear Maman always counseled. Should I inflame their religious passions? Or should I start gossip and rumor? Let's try inflaming their religious passions. Those such passions were, by their nature, unpredictable. So I decided to... steal the captain's wall-mounted crucifix. I mean, that would probably turn him against the others, but... Maybe by desecrating the Shinto shrine, then I can then blame it on the captain. Let's do that. So I decided to desecrate the Shinto shrine and blame it upon the zealous Christian converts of the crew. It was not long before the Shinto adherents began to seethe and mutter of their ill treatment, looking towards the captain with suspicious eyes. Good call, good call. Such suspicion could easily be tipped into revolt. Ooh. Here we go. Talking. Greetings, Commander Davy. Monsieur Passepartout, yes? Let's talk about Honolulu. What can you tell me of Honolulu? I have heard that there are many Americans as Hawaiians there. Can you travel from Honolulu to Pitcairn Island? No idea, but now the entire population of Pitcairn Island was founded from the mutineers of the HMS Bounty. Interesting. Tell me more. My mother was in an accident aboard the Cangrejo submersible from Pitcairn Island to Santiago. Have some vodka. Most generous. Tell me more about Santiago. That is beyond my remit. That is beyond my remit, monsieur. What about Buenos Aires? I believe so. My father was in an accident aboard the Incan flyer from Santiago to Buenos Aires. What about Auckland? Talk a lot, don't you? Gosh, man, am I not supposed to talk? What's wrong with talking? What else are we gonna do on this dang ship? God, okay, where the heck are we? Oh, we're way south. That makes sense. I mean, it only makes sense if we're gonna go completely south to go north for some reason. It was with satisfaction that I noted a certain increase in tension aboard the Water Lily, a situation I would carefully have to exacerbate if my master's mutiny was to have any chance of success. Now I attempted to integrate myself with... should we do the submariners or the Chinese? Let's try the Chinese laborers, who were still rather storm-tossed and oh, dang it. I don't know if I picked the right one. They were still rather storm-tossed and discombobulated. I managed to convince them to play dice with me and proceeded to lose deliberately. To gain their favor, to the tune of 10 pounds. They were relatively pleased at their newfound bounty, and combined with my grace in losing, this seemed to make them look upon me with greater favor. Your funds have gone down a little bit. Okay. Oh boy. Converse. What is your wish, Master? Passepartout, you have my undivided attention. How are you feeling, monsieur? I am in roaring health, but we must make haste. How is our progress, monsieur? Day 57, I believe. We must keep going. Very good. Alright. We got a mutiny here. I had attempted to suborn the obvious targets aboard the Water Lily, but wars were often won by the unexpected. With that in mind, I turned my attention upon... the valets and Batman or the ship's artificer. Let's go to the ship's artificer. Artificers have been great in the past for us. A tall, rather imposing woman in a short jacket embroidered with the guild's coppered lily. Artificers were notoriously neutral in the matter of conflict or civil disruption, but I appealed to her vanity, offering to restyle her rather fusty robes into something more accueillant. She regarded my own outfit critically for a few moments before her narrow face blossomed into a surprisingly sweet, if toothy, smile. You seem like a man with a good eye, she admitted. I have always wanted to be fashionable. I promised her... Let's see. I promised her that she would be the toast of any top deck she cared to walk upon, and had to hope that her gratitude would translate to more direct aid in my revolutionary plans. Oh boy. I'm feeling like we're not doing as hot as I'd like to be. Let's talk. Greetings, Reverend. Passepartout, good day to you. I am sure you know all about Honolulu. I have heard Honolulu is impossibly beautiful, a paradise. What about Port Moresby? I doubt it. Now, anyway, would you believe it? I introduced my daughter to cards occupied her mind. Yes. No, I do not believe it. I know cards are sinful, I think. They are the devil's work. Why are you telling me again? Can you travel from Honolulu to Machu Picchu? I think you're out of luck there. I'm just done with you. I don't think I'm going to learn more from you.